So we're given 10 numbers with a mean of 10, standard deviation of 3. We want to find the sum from I equals 1 to 10 of xi minus 12 quantity squared. So the key to doing this problem is to recognize that the mean is 10. So I can break this up as xi minus 10 minus 2 quantity squared. So I'm going to group the x minus 10 together. And we'll see more why that is. So I'm going to expand this. Think of this as just a minus b quantity squared. You know, that's just a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So I'm going to expand it. So now I'm going to break this up into 3 different sums. So the first sum is going to be xi minus 10 quantity squared. The next one is 4 times xi minus 10. And the last one is just 4. Okay. So recognize that the first one kind of looks like the standard deviation. So for the standard deviation, you know, you have your xi minus your x bar quantity squared, but you also have the n minus 1. I guess not standard deviation, I meant variance, the standard deviation squared. Okay. So I have everything. I have xi, I have x bar is 10. And that's why I chose to separate it as negative 10 and minus 2, because I wanted xi minus x bar together. So all that's left to do is divide by n minus 1. Here n is 10 because we're given 10 numbers. So really, the variance would be xi minus 10 quantity squared over 9. So what I'm going to do is divide by 9 and multiply by 9. So it doesn't matter whether you multiply inside or outside the sum. It's the same thing. So by multiplying by 9 divided by 9, I did not change the value of the sum. So now I recognize that this is the standard deviation squared. So that's 9 times the standard deviation squared minus. Now I can bring this 4 outside. And I'm going to break this up into 2 different sums. So it's going to be xi and 10. And I'm going to pull out the negative from the 10. Okay. And here, this is a sum of from 1 to 10. So I'm basically adding 4 10 times. So when I equals 1, it's 4. I equals 2, it's 4. I equals 3 is 4. You're adding it all 10 times, so it's 4 times 10, which is 40. Okay, so that's the value of that sum. Okay, so now we look at the standard deviation, and the standard deviation was 3, so it's 9 times 3 squared, minus 4. Now, the sum of xi, well, we're given that the mean is 10, but that's really the sum of all the xi's over 10, right? Over n in this case. So if x bar is 10 as well, that means the sum has to be 100. All right, so think about it. If they all add up to 100, you divide it by 10 to get the mean, and the mean is 10. So that's a good check. And now for this other sum, you're adding 10 times. So that's just 100. And then we're adding 40. This thing is just 0, so I'm not even going to bother with the middle term. That becomes 9 times 9 plus 40. 9 times 9 is 81, plus 40 is 121. And that's our final answer.